It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you to another for tuning in to another episode of the Generation Wrestling Podcast. Here today on our GOW Shoot from the Hip Wrestling News and Rumors. Today we're gonna be covering four of the hottest topics going on today. We got CM Punk and his Twitter beef with Eric Bischoff. We got Charlotte Flair's injury and if it's real or if it's fake. Then we also got MJF's contract status. January 1st, 2024. WWE, AEW, who knows? And then finally, we talk about Cesaro, who was released in February of earlier this year, and the whole circumstances surrounding that. But too cold, man, with no further ado, shoot or work. We got the best in the world, CM Punk and Eric Bischoff going at it on Twitter. Apparently, Eric Bischoff, he said some things, man, that CM Punk didn't like about the way that AEW has been booking its episodes. And long story short, man, Eric Bischoff feels that AEW caters to only one or a very specific group of people. Everybody knows that WWE is all-encompassing, man, and that could be for the best or the worst, but Eric Bischoff feels that if AEW keeps booking for the fans and for the dirt sheets, they're not going to become as big as they could possibly be. And then CM Punk, of course, he said what he had to say online. Too cold, shoot or work. Do we see this being real heat between CM Punk and Eric Bischoff? And why you say that, man, I'm going to bring up some of the tweets online so our viewers at home can kind of see what's been going on.
Excuse me. For me, yeah, this is a work. This isn't a shoot. This is I say it's a shoot work, okay? Because we know Bischoff likes to create controversy, as he always says. Controversy always create cash. Is some of the stuff he's saying right? Yes. But I feel where CM Punk's standpoint is, if he felt that his debut or there was something wrong with it, I believe he would have said something about it. The crowd was hot. The energy was there. It's not like, I mean, come on, man. First and foremost, CM Punk could not come out and be the CM Punk that we saw 7 years ago. That's not it. This is an older guy who's been through some stuff, who has a different outlook on things. So he's trying to get back into the building. Now, again, prior to Punk, Danielson, and Adam Cole, what is the one thing we said? Man, it would be nice if AEW can get a name, somebody that's been missing for a while or somebody that's on their way out of WWE, but is looking at AEW because of for what it is. And that's what those guys coming over were. They were a name that brought more attention. CM Punk's run, but you have to also look at how he's been in the ring. It hasn't been so much as how they produce CM Punk. CM Punk looked rusty in the ring. I mean, yeah, he had a nice outing with Darby Allin, but as the matches went on, you could see the ring rust that he was carrying. So it's not like, well, they weren't booking him bad. No, man, Punk needed to get back into ring shape. He was out of ring shape. So if the thought is, I'm not mad at them for what they did, man. He wanted to come in and be humble and start from the bottom, work with the young guys, and come and work his way back up. And that's what he's been doing. He's done exactly what he said he wanted to do. Now, as far as the catering, I'm sorry, what was AEW's mission statement the very first time that they said that they were coming out with a company?
For the hardcore
What was
fan.
it catering to? What was this company about? What was this company catering to? The hardcore fan. The fans that are tired of the entertainment bullshit and want more wrestling. I mean, not to say that fans don't like entertainment, but a lot of the force-fed entertainment has pushed a lot of people away. The lack of pushing new stars that you clearly see people get behind has pushed people away. So therefore, AEW said, we're going to become a company where you're going to see fresh and new stars and you're going to see people get opportunity. Have they been perfect? No, they have not been perfect. We have gotten on them for the things that we feel they can do better. But when they have knocked stuff out the park, yo, great fucking job. Bischoff is not wrong, but he's not 100% right. And Punk has a valid point. I mean, dude, You have to understand, again, this is why I'd be trying to tell people, you have to understand what AEW is. It's not being built to be the exact competition to WWE. It's an alternative. We keep saying alternative. It's an alternative to what it is. If you're more into the goofy storylines and stupid characters and not so much the wrestling, then yeah, this is the show. Then WWE is the show for you. If you want to go and you want to see fresh talent, you want to actually see who's new out there, you watch AEW, you watch Impact, you watch Ring of Honor when it gets back on TV. You, if you can see it, you watch New Japan, you watch the the CWC, you watch the NWA. If you can see these things to create your own narrative, like dude, you have plethora of people that have gone through this company, have been treated like shit, and now that they're on their own, look at what the business has done. AEW helped that because it helped give them a place where they can still get some notoriety and the fanfare. And when you look at the fanfare AEW has gotten, yeah. So these first few years, obviously, man, it's more about keeping that hardcore, getting those hardcore fans to come back because there's still so many of them. But a lot of us are still watching both products. We watch both products, and a lot of other people still watch both products, man. It's just you watch one product for one thing, and then you watch another product for something else. AEW will never be what WWE is in the next 5 years. It's going to take them longer than that. It's going to take them longer than that. It's a shoot. It's a shoot work for me. It's Bischoff shooting off in the mouth and working the people, and but it's the truth. I feel like it's truth behind it because he's been saying this type of stuff about AEW for a while. That's why Tony Khan isn't happy with him, and that's why Bischoff is back with WWE. We know he's back with him. He's not back with him, but you know he'll be quick to show up on that show way faster than he is on AEW. But hey, controversy creates cash, like as he say.
All right, next up, shoot or work, Charlotte Flair, man. So Charlotte Flair is going to be taking some time off. WWE says for an undisclosed amount of time due to an injury she suffered at the hands of Ronda Rousey at her WWE SmackDown Women's Championship defense at WWE WrestleMania Backlash 2 Code. I got some graphics right here, man. So apparently this is when she got her arm all bent up like a pretzel in the arm bar through the chair and whatnot. So Charlotte Flair, man, taking some time off from WWE. Two questions for you. One, brother, is it a work or is it a shoot? And two, what does this mean for the state of the women's division?
The quality of some of the matches is gonna be shitty. On SmackDown at least. I think it's a true work. I think with how brutal they really were being with each other in this match, and not to say that Ronda, I could see something twisting in the shoulder, in the elbow. I could see something being pulled a little bit too hard. I could see her getting some time off. But what's going on, Leo? But I can
Good,
also
Leo.
see that, yeah, I can see she got a that's a legit work injury. Like, not as bad as severe as they want to make it out to be, but I could see something, being a little tweak. She need to take some time off to, make sure it doesn't get any further damage. I could definitely see that. But
All
I
right.
won't give it as much credit as they trying to make it out to be like, oh my God, Ronda Rousey ripped her up. No, she did not. You saw how she bent that arm and pulled it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, no, it's not that bad.
All right, too cold. Next up, man, work or shoot, Cesaro versus the money. So Cesaro was released back in February, man, after an 11-year career in WWE. A lot of promoters said that they've been reaching out to him. A lot of promoters have also said they have not gotten any responses. Allegedly, some of the promoters that have gotten responses that says that Cesaro, man, has apparently priced himself out of potential appearances as they feel that he wants too much money for what he is worth. He, on the other hand, is said to be good staying at home until he gets what he's worth, which is the reason he didn't re-sign a contract with WWE in the first place, because he felt like they didn't pay him what he felt he was worth. Tuco Cesaro. Knowing what we know about Cesaro, the Swiss Superman, arguably pound for pound, the strongest man in the game, one of the most underutilized people, I feel, in WWE when he was there. Do you feel like Cesaro, man? Do you feel like he's doing right by sticking by his guns, or do you think this is a work and we will see him in a big company somewhere, maybe an Impact or AEW, and he's just laying low?
Nah, I can see this being a shoot. He's yeah, I can see him being serious because one, it's not like Cesaro did not create a name for himself. He was a fan favorite. People wanted to see him be pushed, and he recognizes that. For them to say his price is too high, that comes from the being devalued in WWE. That's
Mm,
the problem. Because obviously when he had his little run with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, that was the Cesaro a lot of people wanted to see. They wanted to see a Cesaro get an opportunity to show how good he really is and that he can keep up with those type of guys, and he can. It's just they never went with it. It's like he was always good to be a part of a tag team. He was always good to be a joke or something, but he was a good worker. Cesaro entertained you in the ring. He's the Swiss Superman. I mean, dude, the stuff that he would do. I mean, we see Johnny Hungy do it, but before Johnny Hungy, it was Cesaro. Cesaro
yeah.
was going around the ring, throwing European uppercuts and swinging people on the outside and running around the ring and just being a Superman, just showing the strength and power and speed that he had. So, do they want to pay him? But do they want to pay him the money he wants? No. The part of the reason why that is because they look at how he was on WWE. We know how good the quality is, but the entertainment value, the money value, they feel like you're not going to get a return on that. They're not wrong. I think they're both right. Uh, because I do think he is asking for a bit much, but that's because of the way things work with WWE. He wants to make sure he's properly getting paid, and for people making their money off of him, he wants to make sure he gets paid. Uh, but again, if the company ain't making that much money to get a return, I
Yeah.
can't be mad at them for that. Like I gotta understand that. Maybe Tony Khan would be willing to do it, but I think right now he may be waiting to see what's gonna happen with this Discovery acquisition and whatnot, what they're keeping, what they're not keeping. The belief is AEW will be around, but we're not sure because word is they want to get rid of a lot of stuff and kind of create a new programming. And wrestling may not be on their board for that, so we got to see what happens with that. But yeah, man, I think it's a real shoot that yeah he want that money, and it's real shoot that yeah they're not gonna give it to him unless he brings it down.
Two goals. Speaking of money, speaking of Tony Khan, let's get right into it, man. The salt of the earth, one of the pillars of
Mm,
AEW, one of the hottest heels in the game. Two cold. Shoot or work. We got
it's a shoot.
MJF
It's a
and
shoot.
Vincent Kennedy McMahon. MJF says, you know what? His contract is up January 1st, 2024. He's willing to go to WWE as long as the money's right. And his main objective is not to please the fans, but is to make as much money as humanly possible. Too cold. Hey, we seen it with Cody Rhodes. We didn't think it was gonna happen as soon as it did. It did. So far, he's looking good. He's looking good. And I want to say that Cody seems to be that northern star, that shining star in the sky for other potential AEW crossovers that feel like if I got enough cachet, if I build up my rep enough, I can still be who I am in that big company over there. Now, then again, everybody in the second generation talent like Cody Rhodes either. With that being said, Tuco, MJF, one of the hottest in the game, obviously the best heel in AEW, one of the top heels in professional wrestling altogether. You could debate, who is up above them. But with that being said, worker shoot, Tuco, what is the possibility of MJF legitimately going to WWE as opposed to playing his hand and getting more money out of TK?
He's shooting the truth, and it's gonna be 50-50.
Mm.
Because if they offer him the money, sure, I can see him go. If Tony says, no, man, I'm not offering you that. All right, Tony, I appreciate the time and services, man. Best in your future endeavors. I can see that happening. Now, you hit the nail on the coffin. Cody was an already established star in WWE. he actually had a legitimate run before Stardust. He was a tag team champion in Legacy. He was an intercontinental, multi-time intercontinental champ. Probably one of the before the Miz brought respect back to it.
Yeah.
Cody brought respect to the Intercontinental Championship. That has to be recognized. Because I'm sorry, Dash and Cody Rhodes was my ish. Just the arrogance, the little stash. Man, I don't know. It worked. It worked. But obviously, because of his list, it hindered him on a lot of promos and how Vince felt about him pushing him higher. He leaves, comes back. They have a hot tag team kind of thing going on, and then all of a sudden he becomes Stardust, and we know the rest of the history of that. He leaves. He proves that he's a main event player. 3 years on the independent scene, 3 years in AEW. He comes back. The door was always open for him because of his name and who he is. MJF, if MJF is not worried about the quality of his work, but more of the money he can make being entertaining, then yes, I could definitely see him going to WWE. The problem is, what kind of character can he be? Because we already know, people already say he's the low budget version of the Miz, but some people would say the Miz is a Walmart version of him. Like you have that now with people looking at, but we also understand if WWE was ruthless aggression or attitude era, the Miz would be just as vicious, if not more than MJF. I gotta give
Yeah.
the man credit for that. I can't disregard that. AEW is letting the chain a little loose. WWE's tight, got that mug held tight. They only let the Miz go so far. But we
Yeah.
know if given the opportunity, we watched Token Smack when he was cussing out and dogging out Brian Daniels. So it's like, bruh, if Miz was let, if he was given the reins, the freedom, just a little bit as much as what MJF is, yeah, you can have that argument. But if MJF does decide to take the money and does decide to go to AEW, WWE, hey man, I'm not mad at him. But again, this is what AEW was about. AEW is about giving people an opportunity to show they're more than what people think. It's been 3 years, and Vince is already looking at poaching people.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's not competition. Oh, but it ain't nothing that they do. Come on, man, kick rocks with that. Kick rocks with that. I'm not saying you may not have a point about this or that, but you can't keep saying it's not competition. It's not this. It's not that. It's not this. And again, it's not true competition. It's an alternative. But you can't say they're not doing something good and the way that they're doing it to where instead of Vince having the time and the give a damn to give people that type of push, he rather take the people that's getting the push and then kind of repackage them as he gets them. Cody's a little different. I don't know if it will work that way for MJF. He may get the money, but will he get the creativity that he wants for his character? Like you going into a company that, quite frankly, will sign you and release you the very next week. I don't
Yeah.
care what they trying to change do now. WWE has more than shown, regardless to when they re-sign you, sign you, what they sign you to, how much money you bring it in, they will cut your ass.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
And
Bray Wyatt, who was a top merch seller, and they let his ass go. I'm like, ooh.
so, right. So I mean, but again, if MJF is, but I don't buy that he doesn't care about not pleasing the fans, but he cares about his work. And if he's not being true to who he is, if he's a watered down version of what he is in AEW, I can't see that working. I don't see that working for him. At all. Like the minute the Miz rips into his ass and he can't come back the way he wants to, or he says something and Vince he gets heat for it, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. So yeah, get your money, but understand you getting your money, you're leaving a pro wrestling company to go entertain. They gonna do some wrestling, but you're mainly gonna entertain. And when you look at MJF, some people will say he's a better entertainer than wrestler anyway. So it kind of fits together. But we'll see, man. We got a whole year and so, year and a half, 2 months, yeah,
Yeah.
about a little year and a half to find out. So I hopefully in that time AEW will get the confidence they need and the company, the TV company, they'll know they'll continue to grow and get better. And Yeah, man, we'll see, man.
All right, with
I gotta
that
put my
being
glasses on. I
said,
can't see. I'm
we
blind as
getting
shit.
ready to tune into AEW Wednesday
There we
Night Dynamite. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for tuning in to another episode of Generation Wrestling Podcast, the Shoot from the Hip News and Rumors Report. With your boy, man, the 28-year-old piece of gold. He is too cold, and we'll see y'all when we see you. Peace.